Okay, today I received a surprise package of gifts from the supporter of the channel and many channels, the great Sean Estep. He sent me some stuff, and he only sent me some stuff a couple of weeks ago as well. So he's really treated me nicely. First of all, this needs no explanation. You'll die. Willie, and it's a Velcro patch, so I'm going to have to figure out what to pin this side to so I can put the patch on and just rip it off like you would your kilt. Sean also sent, he's overnight with the gifts he sends me, he's like quadrupled my collection of figures because it's not something I normally collected. This one's from the Hammond collection of Jurassic Park. It's a Dr. Ian Malcolm. Complete with flare gun. Well, not a gun, complete with handheld flare. So that's pretty neat. I like that. Also, you see, I'd love to take these out of the packet, but then they'd ruin it. This is the problem with collectible figures. This is a danger mouse. But it was complete with a working zip line. I'd love to try it out, but I'm loath to open I don't want to open the packaging. This is why I guess people who collect a lot of figures buy two, one they can open and play with and one to collect. I'm going to keep it in the packet, I think, much as I'm tempted to check out the zip line. Get the others you can collect as well. Nice. Sean's a good lad. He sent me some indie and Raiders stuff last time, but he's now sent me another Raiders of the Lost Ark figure. This one is a baddie, Major Arnold. Toht. If it was Thought, I could pronounce it easier. Build an artifact. So this is a nice one. This is an unusual one. Box is really nice. There's the back. That is really neat. So, includes figure. There's a pistol. There's a hand. There's a skeleton head. Oh, tempted to open it. Very tempted. It's been opened before, obviously, so I guess I'm not violating it too much. Gotta get the sellotape off first. There we go. I'm going to open this one. I haven't. It's not like it's in a plastic casing. Let's have a look. Let's have a wee look. Oh, everything's done it. So here's the figure. The actual paper, I'm not going to take it out of this. Oh, it has been opened. The actual paper has got like a map on it, which is a really neat touch, I think. Look at this. I know why people get into figures and collecting them. I never really did it, but this is just phenomenal. Isn't that beautiful? Fully articulated. Well, his legs are a bit stiff. There's something else in here. Oh, of course. Now we're talking. Isn't that nice? Thank you, Sean, for sending this to me. The accessories are, I don't have the heart to take them out right now. They're in here. Let's get them back in before I damage them. So there you go. That's what I would consider taking out of the box and putting on one of my shelves, I think. Oops. Oops. Okay, but that wasn't all. And there's more. It's a nice one, this Lord Thoth, isn't it? This is a nice set. There was a couple of other things that Sean sent. First of all, it's a book. He knows I'm heavily into the Beatles. This is a book. A book. Do you all like books out there? This is a book I'd actually never read before. Or in fact, I don't think I'd even heard of it. It's called Like Some Forgotten Dream. What if the Beatles hadn't split up, by Daniel Rachel or Rachel, I guess. Rachel. And it's a speculative piece looking at towards the end of the Beatles' career. So White Album, Abbey Road, Let It Be, and imagining if their early solo stuff that they all did, and imagining if they hadn't actually split but had taken some of the best bits of those and made another album. And if you think about McCartney's first album, you could have had every night and Maybe I'm Amazed. You could have had a couple of John Lennon tracks like Instant Karma. You could have had George's My Sweet Lord, Ringo Back Off Boogaloo. You could have had a collection of songs that were around that 1970 period, put them together. So I guess that's what the book is about. And I've always thought they really messed up the Beatles, I think, by actually splitting. Instead of just saying, we're going on a hiatus, we're going to have a break, we're going to do our own things. Again, the personal differences had got so much that wasn't going to happen. But if that had happened, they could have maybe got back together again sometime and did some stuff. As it turned out, they were going to get back together to do anthology. John had signed off on it. It was going to happen, and then of course he got murdered. So that was the end of that. But just I love it. It's an interesting what if, you know. But Sean also sent me this. That is yes, Anilinus. Am I saying that right? I haven't got my glasses on. Is that a mini Marshall guitar amp on the shelf? Because I found it at a thrift store and bought it. Yes, it is. Let me just highlight that chat. It is, and it actually works. I do have I got a Vox over there for my fiddling about on guitars, but I actually use that sometimes. It's pretty neat. Sounds really good. You know, tiny use it as a little practice amp. You can busk with it. I'm glad you got one. Blame Yoko. Well, of course we can. If all else fails, blame Yoko for everything. I mean, if we remember back to the pandemic era, Neil Young and others threatened to remove their music from Spotify if certain things didn't happen. I believe that Yoko threatened to put her music on Spotify if things didn't happen. So thankfully it never got to that stage. Funnily enough, I have one Yoko Ono record, which is a 7-inch single, Walking on Thin Ice, which she released after John's death. It's actually not a bad record. Anyway, the last thing in Sean Estep's wonderful set of gifts to me was a sealed copy of the Beatles Get Back book from the Apple TV Peter Jackson show of the same name. So quite a hefty tome that will fit in very well with my big collection of other Beatles stuff. I will open it from the plastic though, because it's full of great images, I'm sure. So thank you to Sean for sending those through. He's a gentleman and a scholar,